Welcome, I'm Jennifer Goodman with Modern Home Tour Austin, and I am here today with Daniel Reeves of Verde Builders. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you. Very glad to be here, and we're excited about doing the tour.
And we're excited to have you. This is your first tour. And
absolutely.
What's really cool is this is actually your personal home at 1207 East 13th Street.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. You know, we've had a lot of time to think about it, and we built several variations of this house, and so, you know, with every iteration, it's just gotten a little better, and we're excited.
That's actually a great jumping off point. Why don't we talk about some of the intelligence that you've really put behind this house, because it is your third iteration, and you have done a lot to consider with siding the house, with materials that you've brought in, cost effectiveness, and that's really what Verde's known for. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Our emphasis in the design of these homes has not been more on the stylistic side. It's really more functionality and usefulness. And you know, a really good home design is one that you're going to use every part of that home, and it all makes sense and it all works together. And and you have been in a lot of homes that you thought, well, you know, they never go in this room, or how's I mean, it's great, but you know, how useful really is that? But this home has a lot of uniqueness, and it's really more challenging in an urban setting because the land, you're working with a smaller piece of land, and of course that governs the overall size of the house, and so you really have to pack a lot of utility in a reasonable size home to make it make sense. You know? And that's more challenging if you're out on you know, a piece of land where you can just, you know, you want to make it bigger. I mean, there's no parameters, you know, and so, you know, here in the city of Austin where you've got, you know, a lot of parameters, then it's more challenging.
Yeah, and I know that often you build homes that face the city, like that where somebody gets a view. I mean, that's not always your choice, because the siding, as you know, as a builder, it's you do what you can with the land at any given time. Right,
you're limited option-wise. You know, like out on raw land, you can, of course, you can. You know, 360 is your option, but you know, there are a lot of great sites here in Austin, and downtown views obviously are a big thing. And so, if I mean, there's just something magical and royal about being able to be inside your house and look out and see a picture of the city. You know, it just kind of makes you feel like you're in the urban core.
So one of the things that I know you do, so there's your custom work and there's your spec work, and so you're taking all of this knowledge that you bring from both sides. To build these homes, and Verde means green, as we know in Spanish. So why don't we really go down that road? Because I know that it for you is hugely important when you're building a home, and what those green aspects are, whether it's sustainable products or siting the home for solar. Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, you know, our logic early on, and my logic really wasn't to follow the green fad. It was more to make a house more energy efficient so that you can pay less. And kind of what I mean by that is, you know, if you think about it, when you write out that check and make your mortgage payment, there is some joy in that because you're getting to live in a nice house. But when that electric bill comes, and you're like, oh boy, that's, you know, writing that check, there's no joy in that, right? And so we just thought, well, if we put some real intelligence and creativity into the design of this, then you can have a house that where your electric bill is smaller than your old apartment. I think statistically, a lot of people say that the average home built today is twice as energy efficient as the average home built 10 years ago. And it's not hard. It's not like rocket science to build an energy efficient home.
Right.
But if you just do some basic things that really anybody can do, then and it's not really even that expensive, you know, comparatively speaking. You know, if your carrying costs from a utility standpoint are half as much, you know, it's going to be half as much from now on. You know, it's a big deal long term.
So tell us about 1207 East 13th Street and what people are going to see in that, in terms of some of the modern organic features that are built in, so maybe some things that aren't so obvious, and some of the things that are.
In that home, you know, it's our personal home. We just use the features and the furnishings that we liked, and I like to incorporate, you know, a modern style with some warm features and finishes. You know, we've got some really neat wire brushed oak floors, you know, throughout the house, and I really like this wood so much we put it, you know, throughout the house, downstairs, up in the bathrooms, places you don't normally find wood, but it works really well, and It's a unique wood that has been it's been wire brushed and then sanded, so it's depressed all of the soft grain in the wood, and, and it's just a really neat feature. We've also used a lot of natural stone. We've used some quartz materials in there in the quartz countertops, which is a really more modern feature, but also we've got some natural stone, accents in in the showers and the backsplash kitchen and stuff like that. And so those are some elements that I like to put. I like to put just some warm natural materials to kind of warm up a modern design.
Yeah, and there's some surprises in your house, I think, that people are going to find when they go through.
Yeah, so my wife likes wine, and so we designed a built-in wine room. I mean, it reminds me of an old wine cellar, and we got some old reclaimed brick from the Thurber brick plant. There was this town that not too far from where I grew up that the whole town made brick, right? And they made the brick for the Congress Road and a lot of historic places. And so we got some of this old brick and we made this wine room with, just brick the walls and floor, and we created a dome top in it. And when you go in, you can it's got this old antique kind of smell to it. It smells like a cellar, and so it's just a really neat feature of that home.
Let's talk a little bit more about the flow of a modern home and what you've brought to this particular house.
Right. So part of what we try to do with, building with, in the current guidelines is we want homes to feel as big as they can.
Right.
And of course, we're limited with what we can do, but, the use of large spaces and kind of long open areas is what we try to design to. And this house is particularly unique because when you can walk in the front door and then you can see all the way through the home, and there's a big glass pocket sliding panel in the back, and so you can, it flows all the way through, and I think that's a unique feature about it, and it's great for entertaining. If you have, if you had a party or something, then, people can walk through the front door and you can see everything going on all the way throughout the house, and then even in the outdoor space out back, and so I think that's a very inviting feature about it.
And that's the modern lifestyle, really, when you think about it, is that flow of the indoors out, and how we really live.
I agree. And kind of older style homes, there's a lot of compartments, and it was very compartmentalized and small spaces, and now what people want are bigger spaces where, you can have if you have a kitchen, living, and a dining room, and your family is spread throughout, then it's not as interactive as if you have one big open room where you can be cooking, people can be in the living room, people can be in an outdoor space, and you can all just interact, and it's a neat dynamic.
So Daniel, we've talked a little bit about the flow of the house, and now let's talk about something that I know that's near and dear to your heart, which is technology in the modern home, because it really is a big part of, the green, if you will.
Sure.
It's not just the materials, but it's actually how that house functions. And you did touch on it a little bit earlier, but why don't we go a little bit deeper, if you don't mind?
Sure. Well, how technology works together with energy efficiency is through automation, and so we put in systems where your security alarm is also has an automation capability with the Z-Wave technology, and so you can get in there and program your thermostats and it's all iPhone capable. So having your thermostats controlled and being able to control all the aspects of the house and having it automated, you just use less power.
So thank you so much for being part of the 9th Annual Modern Home Tour Austin, Daniel. We're thrilled to have you here.
Awesome. We're super excited to be a part of it, and it's a great event here in Austin, and we're thrilled to be a part of it.
All right. Well, I'm Jennifer Goodman with the Modern Home Tour Austin. I'm here today with Daniel Reeves of Verde Builders. Come see Lori and Daniel at the Modern Home Tour at 1207 East 13th Street.